Hello, welcome, Ivan Novak. Also playing with the band LAIBACH, but this time in the function for a tour manager.
Yes, well, not really only. Okay. But you know, this band does not really need a tour manager, and the way we're functioning is completely different from most of other bands. And I am on the tour with them this time, simply with the band, simply because for several functions.
Okay.
And tour managing is one of them. You know, the LAIBACH works collectively, so we don't really strictly go into explaining who does what and what for. But you know, some of us are more involved in a production of the show. Some of us are more involved in the creation of the album, the idea, interviews like this. You know, this is also one very important function. It's a statement.
Okay.
Yeah, so we basically do, you know, it's like an old thing, you know, like the Four Musketeers, one for all and all for one. But of course, LAIBACH, when it started in beginning of '80s, we were part of the very strong movement in Slovenia and also the rest of Yugoslavia, which was, you know, relating to punk and subculture and so on. And somehow they thought that LAIBACH is the most dangerous one. We did the very first tour in 1983 with Last Few Days.
No.
It was a very experimental group from Britain, and we did actually, you know, we invited them to this festival to play with us.
What was the name?
Last Few Days.
Last Few Days.
And also 23 Skidoo were there.
Okay.
They were also on stage with us. Anyway, the concert was stopped, and later on the Croatian communists said to Slovenian communists, "You have to do something about this band. You know, this is just too much. This is unbearable." And they throw us out, you know, from Zagreb, go back to Ljubljana where you belong, blah blah blah. You know, one of those funny stories.
Okay.
And then Slovenian communists were thinking what to do, because there was already lots of reactions on the name which we had, LAIBACH. LAIBACH was, of course, it's a historical German name for Ljubljana.
We are as much fascists as Hitler was a painter. That's really said by LAIBACH to provocate, or was that in those TV shows in the beginning? I don't think so.
Well, you know, they were constantly asking us if we are fascists, and if we are fascists, and we said, well, you know, of course we are as much fascists as Hitler was a painter, or an artist, if you want. You know, you know. And then we went to this tour in 1983. In Occupied Europe tour, as we called it.
It was Occupied Europe too.
Yeah, and we went through East and West. So the first show actually on the tour was Vienna, here in ARENA.
How did Europe and the youth movement in Europe react to with LAIBACH? They were content, they were happy about the provocation. Did they think about more things, you suppose?
It's hard to say, you know. But you know, we actually did the whole tour, Occupied Europe tour in 1983. We were still dressed in Yugoslav army uniforms, because we thought, I mean, we found that really, you know, kind of interesting, you know, going on tour in uniforms, and they were very, you know.
It was mixed reaction, and also the media's reaction maybe was a very.
It was mixed. Thanks God, it was mixed, and.
So you found the way on your kind of provocation. So everything you thought about that was growing and prospering anyhow.
This was before, you know, European Union. Of course, there was still all the borders. We had to go through all the, you know, East German controls and Polish controls, and we were stuck at the Czechoslovakian border for the whole day, because they just wanted to, you know, to find the tricky material and so on. It was very funny. Very funny, and we were, of course, we were not using a big tour bus, but we were in several small cars, you know, traveling all over Europe in
convoy,
and it was you know, big improvisation. Electricity went off during the shows. You know, we were kind of it was just very, very good period, very nice.
But you smile when you're gonna remember that time, yeah? There's still a smile on your face.
It was a very good time. We had a very interesting experience a few days ago when we were playing in Hamburg. Okay. And a member of the group went into the music shop, to buy headphones. Yeah. And the seller of the headphones, then when he was giving an invoice and whatever, the seller asked, where are you from? And our guy said from Slovenia. And he said, that's Eastern Bloc somewhere, yes, Russia or something. You're not in, yeah. And our guy said, no, actually we are in European Union. European Union? No, the fact is that the seller didn't even know what Slovenia is. And then he went on the Wikipedia to check where Slovenia is. And this is happening in Germany in 2014, practically, more than 10 years after Slovenia has been part of the European Union. Yeah. So that's the real picture of Eastern Bloc, Western Bloc, and so on. I think that the question is actually correct. Eastern Bloc still exists, nevertheless, that officially it does not. It's another story I have to tell you. After we already were part of, after Slovenia was already part of EU, we had some interview with the Austrian journalist. I forgot the name of the journalist, in Graz, which is like 15 minutes from the border or something. And she asked me, so how is it to live in Slovenia? It must be very difficult. I mean, do you have a toilet paper? That's what she asked. Do you have a toilet paper?
Okay. She was young.
She was young, and she was a girl. Yeah, and she was maybe even blonde. I don't know.
About your new recording, some words about the new recording, new production of LAIBACH.
Some thoughts.
Some thoughts, some facts, some.
Well, it's a new album. What can I say? We're still in the process of. We are still collecting, somehow ideas what we actually did. It's always a difficult birth of the new child. Mm-hmm. I would say every album which we did is a statement. Is not only which we did, but every album which anybody does, is basically a statement. Okay. And maybe with LAIBACH even a little bit more, because we kind of created a manifesto for a poetic, so to say, poetic manifesto for the party.
Okay. For which party?
LAIBACH party. Spectre. LAIBACH Spectre party.
He has more knowledge.
I'm just a fan.
He has more knowledge than.
Is it the free-form nation? What you mean?
No, that's a different thing. We created the state together with Neue Slowenische Kunst in 1992. That was the end of Neue Slowenische Kunst, but the beginning of the NSK state. NSK state is open for all people in the world.
It's a state without borders.
It's a state in time, without a territory, a state in time, and everybody can become a citizen. Okay. And now we are creating a party, which can actually evolve in political party, international, classical international political party.
Is it like the pirate parties, in Europe?
Well, it's not.
And Germany,
this is now the beginning of the whole thing. But I would say it is instead of. It's
an old application form. I never sent it to you. It's 20 years ago.
Yeah. Okay.
And I won't ask if it still exists. The NSK.
NSK state exists. Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe I try to get some citizenship also there. Maybe I'm thinking about it. Yeah,
but
the next thing.
Citizens, the state is open, as I said, for all citizens in the world, but party is open really for everybody who wants to contribute in changing the world.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we all want to change the world, as John Lennon said.
Yeah, okay. One moment. Okay. I have question 6 is, did you contribute to the prosperity or success of Paul McCartney?
That's an interesting question also, because I'll tell you a little story which is very kind of interesting in relation to Paul McCartney. His recent wife, what was her name? You know, the one with one leg. You don't know?
Linda.
No, the one after. No, the one after Linda, the model with one leg.
Yeah, this one.
I forgot her name. She actually was the girlfriend of a friend of us from the city of Tourmanager, where Laibach was created, before she met Paul McCartney.
Yeah.
When she still had both legs and so on, she was skiing, and this guy was her skiing teacher. And that was approximately the time when we released Let It Be album. And this friend of us, was taking her, driving her to Tourmanager, playing, Let It Be, Laibach cassette.
Yeah.
And she never heard about Laibach. She never heard about Beatles even. And she kind of liked the album, Let It Be. And later on, many years later, she married to Paul McCartney.
Yeah.
And many years later, she brought Paul McCartney to Slovenia.
Okay.
And he was there. Nobody recognized him. It's only one beggar on the street. He said, "Oh, the Beatles." So that's really funny story, And before she heard so-called original Beatles, Let It Be, she was listening Laibach, Let It Be.
Okay. Yeah.
Which is very, very interesting story. And
Okay, that's nice.
and apparently, I have to say,
Okay.
apparently Paul McCartney had enough guts to play this Let It Be cassette, Laibach Let It Be, in front of one of his concerts.
Yeah.
Before the concert, yes, as an introduction.
Okay. Yeah.
Which is,
He used that before his own concerts. But yeah, cool. Okay. How did you come to music, and which instruments you were playing when you were children or teenagers?
Well, we came to music, we are the first TV generation, and when the TV started to transmit picture and music, we've seen all these groups which were, already so popular, like Beatles, Rolling Stones, everything, Led Zeppelin, and so on, etc., etc. All the German and Austrian schlagers and everything.
Yeah.
And so you get.
So you got the influence from, you were the first, so like me, the first TV generation could listen to music and different radio stations, maybe some progressive stations, and
Yeah, I bought my first Jimi Hendrix album, Electric Ladyland, when I was like 9 years old or something, 9 or 10. And I had to wait for the album 2 months, and then it finally came, the original one, double LP, with those naked girls at the front and so on. So we were listening music. It was possible, and we let ourselves being influenced by everything when we were children. And the first instrument we played was probably a brush for brushing.
Yeah.
Without strings, in the bass.
Like air guitar, Luftgitarre.
And then those boxes of the empty boxes of the washing powder, we did drums and things like that.
Okay.
And we used later on, when we started to create the band, we didn't really have instruments, so we kind of created instruments by ourselves, all kinds of.
So like loops or cut tapes or
Electronic instruments, all kinds of keyboards with lots of wires, and made homemade and so on.
Are you also influenced by the electronic music scene, like something like Panasonic or?
No, I would say Panasonic were influenced by Laibach because they came way after.
Okay.
But we were influenced by, early avant-gardists.
Human League.
Also, but that's already, But what we were more influenced was, Stockhausen, Kagelberg, Well, also, I mean, yeah. Well, they did crazy stuff, you know. Keith Emerson did really crazy stuff. Also, yeah, why not? Pink Floyd, everything, you know. Kraftwerk, obviously. So.
Okay, last of 8 questions. Do you think you're gonna play industrial, or where do you locate your kind of making music?
If we are going to play industrial, well, you know, in our theory, all music is more or less industrial. All popular music is actually industrial. The way it is produced, the way it is created, made. Musicians are using pre-prepared sounds, even if they kind of, you know, play with them a little bit themselves. But it's everything is in a way industrial, and also, you know, the way music is promoted and etc. etc. It's kind of industrial process, really. As we played it in the beginning of 80s, the way we used it is actually ambient.
You used it.
Yeah, and created also. It's actually in a way ambient music, because it was corresponding to the concrete sounds of whatever factories, sounds around and so on, and which are actually ambient sounds.
Oh, okay.
So that's it as far as industrial goes. What was the other part of the question?
The other part of the question is, or where do you locate your kind of making music? Where are you now? And we hope you're gonna continue.
Where are we now?
Yeah. Where do you locate it, or how do you?
What do we think it is? You know, usually all the bands are saying, it's impossible. You know, we do not belong to any where and so on.
You belong to somewhere.
For us, I would say that we take everything we can from all possible genres. You know, sometimes we succeed better, sometimes we fail better, but it's always a process, and you know, it's not onto us to define what we are doing really in terms of music. I'm sure that people like you are much more qualified for defining, you know, what this is actually, what we are doing, if that makes any sense. But I think that these things, you know, the definition of what one genre is, it's actually economical definition, because this used to be important in the record shops, because you came to the record shop, you said, do you have any, I don't know, punk music, or do you have any hardcore something music, do you have any electronic music, and this, and this is punk, but it's not hardcore punk, so this is the genre, it's in that corner. So that's a purely economical definition, which makes nothing, you know, it has nothing to do with the aesthetic form per se, or with the content. So genres makes no sense.
Okay, dear Ivan, I'm gonna thank you for the interview. Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Absorbing soul with subculture, brains, energy, implanted genes to our collective being. Don't fight against us. Resistance is futile. Resistance is futile. And you will be assimilated with blitzkrieg. futile.